Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, peeps and seeps, what it is, what it do. Welcome to the Mac Life, the #1 podcast here in the world. We're back for episode 186. Now, if you're new to the channel, we go over absolutely everything to do with making money online, living your freest life, because what's the good of money without freedom? And then I'll also show you all the hidden strategies online that others won't for free. This is the Value Channel. Now, you've probably come here because I imagine you're an avid watcher of the Mac Life, or maybe this is your first video, and if this is your first video, the way in which I do these is in podcast-style format. So we go over the updates that are going on in the Mac Life, we get a little bit of bonding time, me and you, and then we essentially get into a main topic. And today's topic, we'll talk about something that I just randomly stumbled across yesterday. I think it has massive potential for Onlyfans, because it's essentially an idea that no one else is doing. And when I say no one, I actually mean no one in the world. I looked around, I tried to scroll through, and I couldn't see anyone else doing this, and I was like, that's so weird. I come across it by mistake, which I'll talk about in a minute. And when I did it, you know, my video got 16k views just straight away. Like it just went boom to 16k views on YouTube. And the crazy thing is they're all like pretty niched in as well. Like it's we're not just grabbing like random Indian audience that don't convert. We got a pretty niched in result. So I'm keen to test this theory over time, but I want to let you know about it now in today's video so that maybe you can start testing as well and we can get data there. We have a few little experiments running. So we actually have quite a lot to talk about today. I have quite a lot of things to talk about. I've taken a lot later to film the podcast today because I was kind of struggling to think of ideas to talk about. But then I was like, fuck, the things that I did want to talk about when they popped into my mind, I was like, damn, they're pretty in-depth. We have quite some in-depth things to go over. So first thing is we're still waiting on the IG verification, which is good, I guess. You know, they haven't messaged back. Heard nothing from Facebook saying it's been denied, and heard nothing from Instagram saying it's been denied. So, who knows? This may be the one. I have a feeling that we're going to cop some birthday luck. You know, it's coming up on my birthday very soon. So, who knows? Maybe I might wake up to a little birthday present after a hard years of work. But it's funny, you know, you look at things that take effort, they take time, and very quickly they're forgotten. Like, it was a very big goal of mine to be featured on Forbes, to get on Entrepreneur Magazine. With so much hustle, grind, all this thing, and then once it's done, it's kind of like, well, that's done, and then you just forget about it. The dopamine is actually 100% gone. And life is kind of like that, you know? So you really have to think, are the things I'm chasing worth it? Like, what do they deeply stem from? If it's just a dopamine rush or to prove to others a certain fucking thing, they're most likely not worth it. If they have a broader purpose or a more in-depth strategy behind it, then you should chase these things. And things like Forbes and Entrepreneur, I knew they would be exciting at the beginning, but more so I understood the effects that can have on my business in terms of social proof and other things that I can achieve from that. So you notice as well, like look at the difference, a little bit of lighting ads, and there is not a professional lighting setup. All I've got is this little orange lamp that I always have in the back. But today, all I've done is shut the curtains. I've got the two RGB lights. I put on a contrasting, even darker orange and a blue. And as I've moved a little bit, it kind of creates like a little bit of depth of field. And, you know, I've learned a lot about filming. It may not seem like it with the way that I've shot my videos here on this channel. However, you know, as we move into the Newcastle apartment and stuff like that, when I get back, I'm going to have a really nice depth of field in the background that will overlook all the water view and stuff in Newcastle. So it's going to be super, super sexy. And I want to talk about that a little bit more in depth today. But before that, I want to talk about what I've been working on. And I want to ask you guys for some potential help as well in today's video. Maybe you're the expert in this area. And I feel like now I'm at a stage with YouTube where I can start to ask for help and advice and stack that leverage in my favor. I'll tell you a trick I actually used to use was when I designed websites for a living, and it's how one of my first businesses designing websites, or somewhere in there, one of the failed businesses. This was actually had a bit of success. When I acquired clients and I couldn't figure out how to design things because I used WordPress, so it was like coding plus I'd use Divi theme and try and make it easy with drop and drag stuff. If I struggled with lines of code and I couldn't figure them out, I would go to Divi theme Facebook group and I would type in the group and I would say da 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 da, and I use the way play a sucker to catch a sucker. Like, I don't understand. Why wouldn't this bit of code work? Why wouldn't this? And people go, what do you mean you don't understand? How can you be that slow? You say you're an expert. And I'd always say, like, I'm an expert fucking coder. Da 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 da, and put it in. And these people, they would berate me, but they would also say, your code is meant to look like this. And they would they would actually do the writing for me. They would take the time to write what I was trying to do. And then I'd say, oh, thank you so much. And they'd do essentially the work for me. And so I got to the point where I was like, why am I trying to solve some harder lines of problem myself when I could just solve the psychological problem? And so when I look at YouTube today, it's like, what leverage can I use? Rather than going over this problem that I've been going over for a week now, I want to ask for help from you guys. Like, I want to ask for actual help, and I don't need to do it in a way like in the past where I had to portray myself in a certain way, to this little Facebook group to be able to get help from these experts. I just genuinely need some help and would really appreciate help, and if you have a solution and you want some, there was a better word than if you want some payment for it, I'm more than happy to pay you for the solution. But I was going to say, there was definitely a better word, some recompense. I believe recompense for it, then hit me up. Anyway, this is what I have currently. So once you join the Hive Mind, you go through, you get access to all the training inside of Kajabi, and you can go through all the training modules. It's all there, and you get a private link to our Discord. Once you hit that link, you go into like a pending verification chat room. Then one of our moderators has to come in, okay, and basically approve you and then move you to the main things. In the past, I had bots doing this. However, they struggled with a lot of key different things. And it's very, very complex because when you use Kajabi, okay, and it's a subscription payment as the Hive is, if people's payments would fail, they wouldn't be removed from the group. But if all their payments failed and they get cancelled, they wouldn't be removed from the group. So we'd have to manually search through. And then an even more complex problem is people's names on their Discord are different from their actual names. So it's very, very hard to track these things and track what's going on. This is the procedure that I have in place, as now I will have 3 moderators inside the group full time, who essentially their role is to do this. This is the system that I have in place. So I already have a solution, but it's taken me like at least a week to develop it. And it's really only come from having to deal with an issue that come inside the Discord and then sort it out. But that's why I love issues. They make you evolve. They make you better. They make your business better. And so this system's going to be sexy. And this is the best system I have at the moment. I like leveraging software because software doesn't, require sleep. It doesn't make mistakes. It doesn't have problems. People need micromanaging. People need incentivization. People change over time and adapt and get better and move to different roles, and then you've got to train someone else, where software stays as it is. But currently, there is no software that I can use to solve this problem, so I must leverage people, okay? And I must leverage capital to pay people. So I'm going to explain the processes behind my thought here for this, and then I have a longer term strategy, which I think that Discord will eventually just solely integrate with Kajabi. I feel that is a way. It currently does it through Zapier, which is like a connection bot. However, I feel that they will offer that in the future. I have some contacts inside of Kajabi that I've been speaking with as well, asking if there's a certain way that we could try and implement this, because I really feel like it would help a lot. So anyway, I'm going to explain to you the procedure that I now have for the Discord. If you have a better idea and you know how to leverage software and you're like, I could do this, I could set this up, I could have this done, hit me up. Like, I genuinely need some help. And if it's payment you're after, if this is something you want to do for paid work, okay, hit me up. This is my current plan. That's why I have it here. So essentially, a customer purchases the Hive on Kajabi. You get access to everything, immediate training. You get the link to the Discord, the link to the groups. Facebook's very easy because you have to use your genuine personal profile, which is easy for me to track and remove. Now, you get access to the private Discord link. So you hit that. Fucking, why does this feel so goddamn weird? You get access to the private Discord group, and then from there, you wait in like a little pending group slot until one of our moderators accepts your thing. And with 3 moderators, we have moderators on 24/7. So we have very quick responses. It's not like you're sitting in there even waiting for hours to get moved in. Our mods are just there ready to put you in straight away. So you go on that pending verification. From there, we collect your order ID to make sure that, you have genuinely ordered, and we collect your full name. So then we take your full name and we put it in a CSV sheet alongside your Discord name. So we track your Discord name and we track your full name inside a CSV sheet. Then you get moved into the main channels. Now, what happens if you ever cancel your account inside of the Hive? Okay, that way we can look, we can see what payment has been cancelled inside of Kajabi. Kajabi's very forward with that. It shows you, email notifications each day as well as an active track list. It's very, very good program. And then essentially we just go through manually pumping Command F or whatever, search for your name inside of the CSV sheet that we have, the Google Sheet, look for your Discord name, and you'll be removed from the group pretty much the moment you cancel. Because we have 3 mods, okay, these will be the active duties all day, and you'll just be removed pretty much instantly. Now, unfortunately, as I said with the Hive Mind, if you leave the Hive, okay, I do not accept people back in. You're probably wondering how I track that. I only have certain measures in place at the moment, so potentially you could sneak around it, but like I said, I'm super honest. And I think the problem is if you feel like you're going to leave and then potentially come back in the future, imagine you've come back in, you're starting to get all this value, these connections, and then we figure out that you had left in the past, you're going to be booted again. So you're just going to waste that potential, waste that time. And I don't see, if you take the time to fill out the very first requirement inside of the Hive training, which is your dream outcome, your dream goal, you should not be quitting until you reach that dream outcome, that dream goal. Because it does not make sense that you have a dream, okay? You understand that the method works for everyone else. The method that's in place is there and it's working for others. You come in and it's usually arrogance. People take what they can, okay? And then they think, I don't need this anymore, and they leave. But yet they haven't achieved their goal, where others have come in and achieved their goal. And it's a problem that I made for ages, thinking, and I blew a lot of good ties that I had when I was a young businessman, thinking, I've taken what I can from this. I don't need, I'll just disregard and move to this now. And I disregarded all that learning that took place in the past and didn't show credit to it either. And then it's kind of like you try and reciprocate or come back to that to get value when you see it again, because that person continues to climb and they're not going to offer it to you again. It's gone. And I've made that problem in the past myself. Alex Hormozi talks about this and talks about, different stages of the entrepreneurial journey are just equally as important, You can't go ahead and learn. You can't blame your first teacher in math for teaching you addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, because then you wanted to go on and become a fucking aerodynamic fucking engineer or whatever, or aero fucking nomic engineer, I don't know what the fuck it is. You want to work in some complicated space station and they're teaching you like advanced calculus methods and all these certain things and combining them with physics and all this mixture and amalgamation. You can't blame, okay, your very first teacher for teaching you addition, subtraction. Those were equally as important at the time and they were needed, okay, to then go ahead and do this. They were the frameworks to go ahead and progress. And I see a lot of people do that. They take what they can from here and then they move and then they've adapted all these skills and they move to whatever and they disregard it. They think that that's that. And I did that for a long time myself. And then what happened was those people, like I had business partners that I was like, oh, thanks, da-da-da-da-da. I thought, I could achieve more doing shit myself and that because I didn't need what they had anymore, they're irrelevant. It was a very poor character trait that I had in myself. I moved apart and I watched them scale significantly higher than myself. And then when I come back, they didn't have time for me. And of course they didn't have time for me because how can I expect people to have time for me when that's the relationship that I had? I come across, I gain something from them. Okay, they gain something in the interim as well. But then the way I left was like, okay, I don't need that anymore. Okay, I'm gonna focus on this. They build up and then you want to come back. That's why I like the Hive like that. It keeps the Hive very compact with people who are adamant about achieving their goals. So that's why I force you to achieve your goal as well, which is the very first thing. Now, so that's the process that we have. And then on top of that, I understand that the main reason that people actually cancel subscriptions in any subscription-based business isn't, most like if it's a good service like the Hive is, it's not like 90% of our cancellations are not manual cancellations. People are not going ahead and canceling. Their card is failing. They have the funds moved from that account to a different account at a time. Maybe their card's been skimmed. Like my card was skimmed recently or someone from Germany skimmed it somehow. And then what happens is they order a new card, but they forget to update on these websites. Like, I know when my card comes, I've got a shit ton of reoccurring things I have to reset up, but I know I'll miss a handful. And so what happens is about 92%, I think, of the Hive's churn subscriptions come from payment failures that can be rectified. So now we'll have basically moderators in place that if your payment fails, you'll be moved back to the pending verification. The team will be there to assist you and help you. And basically they'll come across and say like, we're going to help you fix up your payment, show you how to do it if you need a walkthrough. Okay. And then let's get that sorted. Then you're back inside the Hive. Then you're back. Then you're active. And so I think like that will help people out as well, because some people struggle trying to get a hold of certain people and certain things just because of the systems that I have in place robots don't care about things that I didn't see relevant. So I need to leverage people in this instant. But like I said, if you think you have a better system in place, hit me up, let me know. Now, on top of that, very quick one, but I have 4.5 months left on Invisalign. So I'm going to create a whole video on Invisalign pretty much as it's finishing up because I get so many people message me. And in fact, I should have been an affiliate for Invisalign. You don't believe the amount of people that have messaged me and then said, bro, I started my journey, I've started doing it too, bro, I'm doing this. I've probably referred them like fucking 50 or 60 fucking bits of business, which doesn't sound like much, but it's like 8 to 10K a pop. So you're looking at like 600K there, thanks to the Mac Life. That's the power of YouTube as well. But yeah, I'm going to make a full video on the Invisalign journey. It's definitely had its pros, obviously, but it's also had a lot of cons. Like that, it's very time consuming, very time heavy. However, you know, I'll also give an update on what's to come in terms of like veneers, because I'll be getting these motherfuckers veneered. So, and a lot of people, I used to get this. I've actually had probably a handful of people message and say, bro, you know, I used to watch your videos and you were talking about like Invisalign, talk about your teeth. And I was like, why is this guy wasting fucking time? And then they watch more and more and more of my content and they realized like the connection that I made with them talking about other topics that they bonded with. They realized how important it is to just be yourself and talk about your life, because I have made such an impact on so many other people in certain areas that are like, bro, I want to do this too, bro, I want to do this. And it's your authentic self and you get to connect with people that are like you. And it's very, very powerful, okay? Because like I said, if your focus is on business as well, the best way to do business is with people who actually like you. So when you're your authentic self and you leverage media to put it out there to as many people as possible, and you do long format content like this, okay, not short format little 60-second TikToks, you're going to build an audience of people who are just like you, and you'll be able to provide value to them. They'll be able to provide value to you, and that's how business should work. That's the best way to do business. Yeah, on top of that, I'm keen to build out this bucket list channel. If you're a videographer in Dubai, hit me up. No one hit me up yet from yesterday's video, but it's only been like one day. It's very specific. Videographers in Dubai, if you watch my channel, hit me up. I need someone to film content of me saddling, learning to ride, and riding a camel through the desert in Dubai before I head off. I need someone in place ready to go. Now, my thoughts on property as well. So many people ask me about property investing. Am I going to put out some property investing prices? You know, videos. My ideas on property investing change day to day. And a lot of people make a decision very rash or very quickly, where I like to model off people who have already been successful. Plus, I like to look at leverage and what systems of leverage are in play. Most people's idea of why property is good is to put it in layman's terms, you know, they have a very simple mindset. They think, oh, I'm going to spend all this money, buy property, and then it will make me more money passively. But it's like, how much capital are you going to put up front for that small amount of cash flow back? And then they justify it by saying, yeah, but the price is going up. Yes, whilst all these things are credible and they actually are factually correct, the method behind what you're doing doesn't really make sense if, listen here, you don't have a smart system at play. Now, what do I mean? If you're an average wage earner, okay, and you're not leveraging a highly advanced system of accumulating debt and then using property equity to purchase further properties until a point where it creates a snowball, and I know that can be done. Myself, I'm not smart enough to figure out how to do that correctly. Unless you have a very, very key system at place, most people just overthink their own intelligence. They think, well, you know, if I just keep chipping away at paying down my down payment, eventually I'll have that. Then I can get property two, and property one will help me do this. And you know, I used to think in these terms as a kid. But then I look at the amount of people that have that plan. They're in their 50s, their 60s, their 70s. They're still broke, or they finally pay out their house and they're in like their 68. Does that plan look like it works? And they've worked their entire life and just got little holidays here and there. That is not the plan that I want to undertake. My plan looks highly, highly different. So the way in which that I aim to execute my plan that I've been looking at inside of the housing market is very, very simple. I will buy cheaper properties, okay, that have the ability to be flipped as well, okay? They need renovations. They need other things that can increase the property value, but I won't touch them to begin with until I learn more about property. I will simply purchase the cheapest sort of property I can, and I'm not worried about cash flow really at all, okay, I will purchase them outright. And basically the main theory behind this is now I can diversify my portfolio a little bit more, and I can essentially just focus on the appreciation of those buildings rather than that money sitting as liquid. Now, there are definitely way better options in terms of cash flow of things that you could buy. Monetized YouTube channels that already make money that you could start pitching your brand voice in. Facebook fucking automations for certain things. There are so many other things. I don't know about these other industries, but if you're, basically buying automated business models, Airbnb, all of these sort of things. Sure, and people say, oh, but there's a lot of scams. There's a lot of scams in every industry. You just have to do your due diligence, okay, and talk about the theory of, if you roll the dice, you have a 100x returns, 10 to 1 chance. You're going to roll that 10 times. It's going to be stacked in your favor. So there are far better opportunities in terms of cash flow, but in terms of if that liquid was sitting in your bank account anyway, it would be far better off sitting in a hard appreciating asset. And I know housing market's going to go down and up, but over time, okay, it's going to go up. If you were to just sit that money anyway in there with no other plan, then really, I already have a good investing strategy in terms of high risk, in terms of crypto, in terms of, I don't believe in buying other businesses for myself that I wouldn't put all my time into. I think the only other businesses now that I would purchase would be businesses in the YouTube space, because that's where I see, putting all of my time, YouTube, Onlyfans, that sort of industry. But next year, I believe maybe the end of next year, end of next year. And I know I've talked about this last year. I was thinking about it last year, and you can see that my plan has changed, but I just feel I've become more educated in this space, speaking with different people. I'll probably purchase in South Australia, okay? Property prices are very cheap in South Australia. Just in terms of liquid that I have sitting there to be used, next year I'll either purchase 2 to 3 properties outright for around, they sit around 3-bedroom properties in South Australia, sit around 230k AUD. So maybe, I don't know, 190k US. And I think that's about right. Maybe 180k US, I don't know, somewhere around that at this time. Anyway, I'll purchase 2 to 3 of those properties straight up with liquid that I have sitting there. And yeah, then I'll just have them sitting there as essentially appreciating assets for money that just would have been sitting there elsewhere. Is there better ways that I could have invested? Yes, but at least I now have some diversification inside of my portfolio. So that's what I aim to do. And I know you're probably sitting there if you're in housing saying, yeah, but you could just, leverage debt and then you can get 10 properties and do this. I don't know anyone besides ultra wealthy people that leverage debt correctly where they can still live their lifestyle and then they don't have times when things go horribly south. Okay, at least if I'm not leveraging any debt, okay, I can already take higher risk in terms of other things, crypto with 100x returns. I feel that's the correct way. And then from the extra cash flow, you probably get around 300 AUD a week in terms of cash flow. I can rent a podcast warehouse through my company, a podcast studio on the water in Newcastle for somewhere around $1,000 or 1,200 a week for business purposes. Business purposes, okay? So it's a taxable write-off. And then obviously we'll be able to shoot some nice podcast content from there. And that covers cost of business living. I'm very careful with the way I choose my words. That covers cost of business living, etc., etc. So that's my plan in terms of housing. If you're a housing expert, you're probably looking and thinking that's silly, but I probably look at the way in which you do business and I think it's silly. If you're listening to this podcast today and you still haven't launched your own YouTube channel, you 100% need to launch your own fucking YouTube channel. The amount of money you can make from your channels is immense. If you haven't noticed, okay, I upload every day. Does that not show you that it's worth it in terms of ROI? I find time to put out a 40-minute video every single day. And now I've launched an entirely separate second channel in Ruski Yazyk, in Russian. So, motherfuckers, get your tube channel going. Even if you don't know, just talk about your life and link the Hive Mind. Become a Hive affiliate. The amount of referrals you'll generate, okay, we're both making extra dollars. Now, last 2 things I want to talk about before... No, 1, because that was really 1. The problem with the Discord is all as it is. There's only really 1 thing that I want to talk about now. Oh no, I do have a quick little update as well. It's been such a fuck around to transfer all my files from these older phones, and I've still got this phone I'm filming on now, the 13 Pro. 13 Pro? Yeah. I've got to transfer all this off, okay, all my data across, and then go and get the 14, and hurry up and go and get the 14 before I leave, because that shit needs to be done. And I need to find if there's any better alternative for filming on the go with the phone compared to the Rode mic and this setup that I'm using, and get the new laptop as well, so we can still pump out the reaction videos while I'll be away, because if you know, I'm heading off to Dubai to Texas through a heap of the US, and then the US to Europe, and I have friends in Miami, friends in Boston, friends in Texas, obviously I have, and then I have so many people that I'll be meeting along the way. So anyway, that's going to be an exciting journey. And the last thing I want to talk about before we talk about this OnlyFans method is, and there's two parts to this OnlyFans thing today, because we have an update on how the series is moving with Chelsea, because we're testing the X-rated sites. But I want to talk about, inside the Discord, I'm merging the channels of, fitness, of mental health, and of, social, all into one. And it's self-improvement. And like I said, this video, it can definitely help girls as well, especially in terms of, the mental health side of things. I believe this can help girls that watch this channel. However, for young men, just to be in a community of like-minded other people is so powerful. And then on top of that, what I would give to have had the hive mind, and this is why I know it's successful, what I would give to have had the hive mind as a young 18-year-old man being like, fuck, what do I do for business? Trying to test different things, failing in different businesses. If I could just join a Discord and see that other people are actually succeeding day to day, which shows that it works, my beliefs would have adapted so much quicker. And then on top of that, to be able to interact with these people and ask them what they're doing, strategies day to day, my net worth would have grown a fuckload quicker. Plus, I gain a network of valuable people that I can utilize and leverage in certain areas. Boys, if you're a young man that watches this channel, when I say young man, 20s, 30s, that's still young, okay? And in today's age, probably even the way we're looking at living, taking care of your health, gym, everything else, 40s is quite still young. If you're a male that watches this, or even a female, whatever you are, and you're trying to improve in your life, to be able to plug into a community like what we have inside the one channel that I'm going to merge into one is just absolutely insane. What I would give to have that when I was 18, I would give every dollar I could make from 18 working, through the call centers and everything, just to be in a group like that. Because you skip ahead, you get to skip steps, you get to cheat other people's failures. I had so many failures. In e-com, for example, I fucking was so pumped one day when I changed my Facebook ads from the big five, which means the main 5 countries, USA, Canada, Australia, United States, and New Zealand, in terms of purchasing, in terms of correct purchasing. And I switched to worldwide, and I woke up and I had 20 or 30 orders of pairs of sneakers. And I had $100 markups on all of them. I put them at $130. They were $30 on AliExpress with express shipping. $15 express. And I was like, oh my God, I made 2 or 3 grand overnight. The orders are still coming. I'm fucking ecstatic, right? And remember, not just that I'm spending money on Facebook ads. So I sent out all these orders, all these shoes out. And then, a few days later, boom, 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 charge back. Because they'd used some stolen or skimmed cards, or I don't know what the fuck they used, or how they just disputed their cards. So I had all the money taken back, plus you cop a $25 USD service charge on top for each order. So imagine 25, and I'm only a young kid just starting to get the hang of e-commerce. 25. Plus I'd spent all the money on Facebook ads, okay? Plus I'd spent all the money on the shoes to be sent and the shipping, so $30. All of these going out, right? And then on top of that, Stripe or the gateway at the time at Shopify is motherfuckers, we don't want your business anymore. Look at all of this shit. You've got a dodgy business. You're like, no. And imagine if I can just tell you instead. And you say to me, hey, I'm going to do e-com. Let me test worldwide. And I say, no. Trust me. Just stick with the big 5. Do you know how much problem, stress, time, money, effort I have just saved you from a lesson that you could have learnt the very, very harsh way yourself and could have potentially bankrupted you and then made you had to work all your way back up? One lesson. In 5 seconds. Now combine that with the Hive of 600, 700 members who can give you lessons. And that's just in terms of finance. Imagine that in terms of language acquisition. Imagine that in terms of fitness. Imagine that in terms of travel, being able to travel the world and see different countries and learn different things and different connections. In terms of property investment as people in the group do into that. In terms of crypto, in terms of all of these things. That's why the Hive is so powerful. It's the fucking source of the internet. Anyway, let's get into the OnlyFans content. That was a long one today, as I said, but we had a lot to go over. I am going to show you. I don't know. On YouTube, I don't know if it's going to get flagged or whatever, but no, it shouldn't. No, actually, I can't put the video up because I don't even know if I can say why. It's been like, Chelsea, who I'm working with, her account has already been reported certain times for different things, and so it just gets flagged. But anyway, how can I word this? The roadmap that I'm doing for Chelsea is essentially she has put up all of her content and pretty much all of it, nearly all of the content ideas from the content list inside the Google Drive. We're starting to work on the edits. The intro, outro video is done, which is what I was going to show you, but I'm not going to show it to you because it links to OnlyFans. Plus, it's like probably going to get flagged on YouTube. I will have to find a way to show it later on as we go through the thing. I might just blur it and show, or I'll use a template. So in a later video, I'll show you the template on Canva that I use because I essentially use Canva videos to create it, and we just won't put that video in there, but I'll show you like this is how I put the text, this is how I put that, and where that goes in the video. So essentially for the videos that we're posting on X-rated sites, it goes in the first 5 seconds, okay, and we're testing different voiceovers that go in the first 5 seconds to push people to OnlyFans. Then a short clip, so a short snippet of the actual video, like 15 to 30 second TikTok style video, okay, and then we have the 5-second outro. So all in all, the video goes from 25 seconds to 40 seconds, including the intro and outro. And in that time, we're just trying to push people across to OnlyFans. That gets distributed on YouTube Shorts, it gets distributed on TikTok, it gets distributed on Instagram Reels, and it gets distributed across all the big X-rated sites. So we're testing that over the space of the month. The intro, outro video is done. I'm just waiting on some voiceovers for those seconds from Chelsea to be done in the last few topics. And then we're launching. So I'll keep you all updated as the progress goes and we can start to track all the data. Now, yesterday I said if you're doing it as well, reach out to me on Instagram. I had a heap of people message me on Instagram that are also doing it. So I'll start to put up their data as they start to accumulate it as well. So fantastic. And recently, I've had a lot of porn stars message me on OnlyFans. And they all ask the same thing. They're like, oh, I do this. Could you help me too? When I mention OnlyFans, 100%, like it's just a platform that's being used to distribute adult content. And you're willing to go way higher up the content hierarchy, way higher up than a lot of people in terms of the stuff that you're willing to put out there. So you can make a lot more money. And I speak to a lot of these porn stars and they say like, I'm doing this, I'm doing porn, I'm flying here, I'm going there, I'm doing this. Like legitimately 5 to 10 different people in the last few days. And then I asked them what's their terms of revenue, and it's very, very low, like lower than the models that we have and the models that I help and consult with that do, like just lingerie shots. So, in terms of like, when I talk about the OnlyFans marketing inside of the Hive, you 100% need to understand the marketing. And that's why I teach in frameworks. Because if you have another thing, say you have a page, like you have your own private website, or you use, different payment gateways, or you use PayPal to distribute your content, it doesn't matter. OnlyFans is just simply the platform. The marketing frameworks and the management frameworks, because remember, if you don't have a manager, you're just managing yourself. All of these frameworks apply to the adult industry in general. And, over time, when OnlyFans becomes obsolete, which I eventually believe it may, okay, or another platform uprises, or, we have, like I said, the metaverse and metaporn and all of this shit takes over. Metaporn probably is a fucking great word if you haven't trademarked. If someone hasn't bought the domain name metaporn.com, you are missing out. That is a fucking big... I'm gonna look after this video, so... yeah. What the fuck? What was I talking about? Yeah, so the frameworks all apply. All of the frameworks apply exactly the same. So you need to know them, you need to learn them, you need to use them. And then we'll just distribute data as it comes from everyone. Now, as for editing, what I've used for the intro and outro, I said Canva. You can use Canva. And also the best app by far for a phone, look at the reviews. I've used this for years, and I was preaching to this for people for years to use it, is InShot. It's like a high-def fucking almost Adobe Premiere level editing software on your phone. And on top of that, How do you think I upload these giant videos each day? Remember, I'm shooting in like 4K or 1080p cinematic view. Do you know how long that would take to upload to YouTube? I put it in InShot. It takes like barely any time, and I'll actually give you a hack. What you do is you go to InShot if you're doing YouTube videos or you're using big files. You hit upload, and as soon as it ticks to 1%, you press cancel. I don't know why this works, but it works. Okay, then you lock your screen, you go do whatever, you play on your phone, you do whatever the fuck you're doing for the day. Come back in about 30 minutes, and it's all uploaded. It will upload during that time anyway. So you go back into it, you hit it again, you hit thingy, and it will have for somehow compressed that video in the background. It uploads a compressed version. So you hit it, and it'll go from 1 to 100 super quick. It'll upload inside of InShot. And then when you export from InShot, it's a compressed file size. So I can airdrop it to my Mac in like seconds or upload it to YouTube in like 5 to 10 minutes. It's very, very powerful. InShot. Now, if you're using the free version, the bum version, okay, make sure you hit remove watermark down the bottom. I've seen some people forget to remove the fucking watermark. You have to watch a 30-second ad every single time you do that, and then a 30-second ad to export. So think about it. You do one video, that's a minute of wasted time, plus you copped an ad at the start for a little bit, for like 10 seconds or something. That's a minute 10 wasted time. It's like $60 or something to just buy it. And this isn't an affiliate, I'm not thingy, I just recommend them because I use them non-stop. I bought it outright. I don't even know if you can still do that anymore. I think now they have a yearly subscription. But I bought the Pro outright, and I recommend you do that before they fucking change it to a yearly subscription only, which is very, very smart. It gets rid of all the ads, plus you get a heap of extra other shit that you can use, like pro music and pro effects and transitions and all this extra shit you get access to. But just that, it's like $60. And think, how valuable is your fucking time? If your time is like, you make $60 an hour or even $30 an hour, it stacks up to that very, very quickly. You know, if you do, 10 videos in the space of a day, you've already wasted like 15, 20 minutes. Very quickly, that's an hour. Very quickly, that's 2, that's 3 overtime. Just buy it and save your time to begin with. The moment you buy it, your ROI is already stacking. If you're a brokey, get some money in first, but so InShot's great. InShot's what I use. And I had people asking me, what was I using to edit the short style videos? Because we're going to go into the shorts now. My video editor was doing those, and he's using Adobe Premiere. That's what he was using. But how crazy is this? So this is what I tested yesterday. I've only tested one video, and it worked insane. It got me 16K views in the space of like half an hour or whatever it was, 10 minutes or something. All I did was look at the shorts list. So I went to shorts on YouTube, and the first video that popped up was like a very recent interview between Kanye West and Piers Morgan. Why was I going to say Pierce Bronson? I don't know. But anyway, it's between like, I believe Piers Morgan's his name. Is that interviewer the UK interviewer? Or he's in the US now. Anyway, it was the interview between those two. And I just hit the feature because I was going to save it and send it off to IG. And I hit it down, and it was like green screen. So I hit green screen, and it creates just a green screen, like a reaction video. But now instead of, you having to film and it chops the screen in half, you're just kind of taking up like this much of the screen. Like you're just a cutout in it. So I just went like me agreeing with Kanye. Like I didn't even say anything. I was just like me nodding my head. And that got like 16K views straight up. And then I thought, what if, and it sounds dumb, but it's so dumb it might just work. Like just think about fucking the Turtle Man, right? That's so dumb, it might just work. Imagine, and I scrolled through OnlyFans on shorts, and I realized no one else is doing this. Imagine to rank on all the OnlyFans shorts. If you type up OnlyFans and you hit shorts at the moment, I will already rank, and I'm not because of these videos, just other ones I've done talking about OnlyFans. But imagine you go to all the hottest trending OnlyFans videos, and then you just do simple reactions to you in that video, and then you could even add an end screen like subscribe or an end screen whatever, an end screen. Do you know how fast you could build your YouTube channel? Because you're already using viral content. You're not even having to create viral content. And if you add in the controversial method over the top, and I'll explain this in a second, my idea, I think you could go fucking wild. And the crazy part is, how easy is that content to film? It takes seconds for you to just look and be like, and you film yourself doing shit to it. And the best part is when you do it on your phone, it can be done on your phone. Hit where it says public to display, and it will have schedule. So you could just schedule 100 of these fuckers out so quick, which is what I'll be doing today. But imagine, and I'll be doing it to OnlyFans videos of me giving my opinion and then being like, boom, a little end screen that says, for OnlyFans tips and tricks at the Mac Life. That's it. That'll be so fucking simple. What you could do as a model to get some controversy or have your girls do is pick any random video because people are going to comment. Trust me, people are going to comment. And just have you in like your lingerie or whatever, just sexy dancing while something's going on. And do you know the amount of eyeballs that will get, because it's already a trending video, now you've added in the sex side of things or the sex appeal, and you're going to get so many dudes commenting, well, it was a good debate, except for the random fucking girl twerking on the screen. Do you know how many people are going to comment? It's going to pump it even more. And like I said, of those people, you're already targeting, like, sexualized content because you're doing sexualized shit. Sure, a massive percentage of them are just going to be random comments, but think about how many simpy dudes are also going to watch those videos while scrolling and be like, who the fuck's she? Click your YouTube name, go across to your channel, subscribe. Now they're watching all your shit about OnlyFans. Now you've got a subscriber. And that is the easiest, most fucking lazy, dumbest way to produce content. It takes no effort. You just go, boom, you dance for 15 seconds, schedule. Boom, you dance for 15 seconds, schedule. Boom, you dance. You do that for a fucking hour. You sit there, you can schedule out 100 videos and test this method. Who knows? That might be 1 hour's work. This is the problem though. People hear my methods and they think, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll try it. They test 2 or 3 videos. When is 2 or 3 ever enough of a data size? When have you ever been like, you know what? I want to learn to curl a soccer ball. I'll give it 2 or 3 kicks. 2 or 3 fucking kicks. Schedule 100, schedule 200 videos, schedule 300 videos and say, well, that took 3 hours of my day that I probably would have wasted scrolling on socials because Mac knows me too well. The big source already knows me too well. Okay, go through, schedule them all, and then the work's done. Sit there and see if it reaps you in extra rewards because I'm going to be doing it, and that's why I continue to grow. Now, if you found some value in today's video, I know it's a longer form video. Hope you've enjoyed and you found some value. Please share it with a friend. Share it out there. I don't ask for too much. I just ask that you give it a little share with a friend. You know, copy the link, go on your Facebook and send it to someone else who does OnlyFans. Send it to someone else who's thinking about management. Send it to someone else who thinks maybe the Mac is the sexiest being I've ever seen. Share it out there, okay? Hit subscribe. Join the fucking hive, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's video. Or, если вы говорите по-русски, I'll see you today on the Russian podcast. Пока.